in brightest day, in blackest night. All other podcasts tremble in fright. Losers cower before the power. Oranges lust and blues you can trust. Indigos feel and white ones heal. Yellow scare and green ones dare. That sapphire love and black hands glove will rock your foundation without hesitation. Chad and Mars face evil's might. Respect their power, for they'll make you see the light. Hi, everybody. I'm Chad Bokelman.
I'm Mark Marble.
And this is the LanternCast.
453, I think.
That's right. Yeah, we're talking about the wrap up to Infinite Frontier. I didn't say woohoo.
Where'd you go? You're leaving me?
Well, no, I said something under my breath, but I guess I said it so under my breath you didn't hear me. I said I didn't say woohoo this time.
Oh, I'm sorry. we'll keep all this in then, because yes, I should be a proud supporter of your non-woohooing.
Before we get into it, because we'll be talking about Infinite Frontier number 4, 5, and 6. No feedback from people today. I gave everybody over on Twitter an opportunity to give us some feedback for their thoughts on Infinite Frontier, but nobody took me up on it. So that's not to scold anybody. Well, maybe it is. Who knows? But the feedback we do have, we're actually going to save until Dan is here the next time we talk about the next issue of Green Lantern, because all three of them directly reference him or ask questions of that series. So predominantly, yes. So before we get started, I just wanted to kick this off with what I'm seeing here. So first of all, I got paid. So I went over and I placed my pre-orders for the DC Imperial John Stewart Funko Pop and the glow-in-the-dark and regular White Lantern Wonder Woman Funko Pop. And while I was over, because I got the Imperial one over on Big Bad Toy Store, which it says it's not. Someone posted on Twitter. One of our listeners posted he already got his, but I don't know if he actually got it from. I don't think he got it from Big Bad Toy Store. But Big Bad Toy Store is telling me mine's not supposed to be here till like sometime next month. I don't know. Maybe they're waiting for stock and they get some of their stock later. I don't know how it works over there.
I don't think that's that. I mean, it's weird somebody has gotten theirs, but I thought there was someplace else. I don't know if it was Entertainment Earth or some other place, or maybe it was Hot Topic if they sell that one too. Someplace I saw, I think was giving dates like around October 12th, October 14th. So if Big Bad gave you generic, because they tend to give generic time frames, that wouldn't be that surprising.
Yeah. Well, I also, when I pre-ordered it or ordered it over on Big Bad, I also ordered everybody sold out of the Green Lantern soda pop, so I can't get that. But they do have another soda that they announced, an Underdog soda, which I really love. Underdog. It's a big part of my childhood. It's probably my number 3 cartoon from my childhood. And I really like it because not only does it look like Underdog because of the style of the sodas, but also the chase is like a completely different one. So like with the Green Lantern one, you have Green Lantern and then you have White Lantern Hal. Same pop, same everything. With the Underdog one, it's interesting because you have Underdog as the main one and the chase is Shoe Shine.
So you didn't order the Green Lantern one anywhere?
Well, so when it came out to be pre-ordered, I didn't have the finances to justify it. So I was waiting until I got paid.
And then they sold out by the time you got paid?
Yes. Well, pre-sold out, yeah.
I did order 2, so you might be okay, Chad.
Well, I mean, quote unquote okay. It depends on if you get duplicates. that in theory that is correct. If by some luck of the draw I happen to get a regular and the White Lantern run, then it could be dicey, but I would probably just keep the White Lantern one then. Well, I mean, see, I want both. So, I'm part of that Funko group for Austin. I'll find it in some way, shape, or form, one way or another. But anyways, my Black Lantern Wonder Woman from Entertainment Earth is on the way to me. It should be here by the 5th, according to this. And my Amazon Wonder Woman it's here. Okay, I got to go down after we get done recording. I got to go down to my mailbox.
You can put us on hold if you want to run and go get it now, Chad. It's okay.
I'm good. So I got to go down to the mailbox and pick that up because the Black Lantern Wonder Woman Amazon exclusive Glow in the Dark is here. But while I was over there, I was double checking. You know, when you log into Amazon and something like gets delayed, it's like, hey, there's some approval changes or whatever thing you need to do. I pre-ordered this thing. What is this? May 27th? Is that what that says? May 27th. And it said we will email when it now says we'll email you when we have an estimated delivery date. Earlier today when I initially approved the delay or whatever, it said like October 27th. This Jessica Cruz pop is just getting pushed back and back and back. I thought that's weird.
Well,
it's Dia de los, so like as long as it gets here before Halloween. But I'm seeing a lot of the Dia de los stuff just out in the wild already. Not necessarily Jessica.
No, I know but we do know it's not surprising to have pops and stuff pushed back. So it's not. Mm-hmm. It's probably more the rarity when something gives you especially you look at Big Bad as an example. If they tell you it's supposed to be the second quarter and it actually comes out in the second quarter, or heaven forbid if they actually tell you, oh, it's supposed to ship in May, and it actually ships in May without being pushed back like 2 times into June, then into July. Before that, it's a miracle. So to me, it's always with a grain of salt. Like that Marvin the Martian one that we talked about last week that I canceled. That one was, I think, supposed to ship in May. And here we are, like a day away from October. And the reality is that's why one of the reasons I canceled is like, it's like 3 or 4 months past, not the time I ordered it, past the time, way past that when it was supposed to ship. So it's like, yeah, I'll pass.
Yeah, I sent the Mark a photo today, and I posted the same photo over on Twitter. And you can say you retort or whatever. I just think it's cool we have this many lantern things. I mean, I know it's all pops, and nobody really cares about pops unless you're a pop collector, but just lantern stuff in general, it's exciting to see some merchandise to choose from, because realistically speaking, even if there's a regular version and a glow variant, counting out that's 6 brand new lantern things, and that's all just pops. And then we include the soda and some other, like the Dawnbreaker and Hal Jordan multiverse 2-pack that just came out, things like we're starting to get lantern merchandise back in the world.
Yeah, I think we are getting a decent amount of Green Lantern stuff. Yes, a lot of it is Wonder Woman oriented, which is probably the main reason they're making them. But still, there's not all Wonder Woman, and at least we're getting multicolored lanterns, and not all the multicolored lanterns we're going to be getting, hopefully, based on what they keep telling us, are going to be, Wonder Woman. We're still supposed to get Atrocitus, and
Atrocitus is the only one that's been named, right?
I think so.
Yeah, and you made the Wonder Woman point. There's also the variant point, like, why didn't we just get Jessica? Why did we have to get the Dia de los Jessica? Why didn't we get just a regular John Stewart? Why did we have to get the Imperial version? So on and so forth. A lot of people were really upset that we got White Lantern Sinestro, and we still have yet in the entirety of Funko's line to get a regular Yellow Lantern Sinestro, which is interesting because they have done Yellow Lantern Sinestro in like other stuff that Funko makes, not pops.
Yeah, like the Mezco things. And
yeah, exactly. So like it's just the variants they're choosing are very weird. But like I said to some of the same people who were complaining about it, and I don't want to say complaining either because that just sounds so negative. But like at this point, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy it all up. I was going to anyways, and hope that my voting with my dollars keeps the line going long enough to where the HBO Max series hits. And then that will have its own popularity, and then we can get some more pops out of that. You know what I mean? Let's keep the train of Green Lantern merchandise, or just Lantern merchandise from Funko, rolling as far as we can to that goalpost of HBO Max, because we know there's got to be at least 1 or 2 HBO Max Lantern Funko Pops.
You'd like to think so, yes. And with the Sinestro pop, at least if you were going to do another color Sinestro, I actually would rather see the white before green. I know some people might want the green, but the white was pretty iconic when it happened. And,
they've done the green.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying. If you had to have another color besides, you think of yellow, But if there was another color you'd want, the white would be the one. So I don't think that's as crazy a color to go with as opposed to, it's like if they were doing like a whole bunch of Hals and they never gave you a green Hal, but they gave you all the other colors he's been, or the splits, and it's like, okay. So I get it. The Sinestro pop is really cool. I really like that. I like that one much more than Black Hand. I haven't opened either at the moment, but I do.
Yeah.
The sword is a nice touch.
Yeah, that's yeah, I do like that one. By the way, the Green Lantern Sinestro goes for a ton. And that it's from the Green Lantern movie, but there was also a metallic Comic-Con exclusive variant, which like only 450 of them were made, sort of a thing. Honestly, as much as I'd like to see Yellow Lantern Sinestro, I think I'd also be excited by like a classic costume Sinestro.
Maybe it might work okay in Funko form.
Yeah.
That costume. I mean, to be honest, they've made the costume a little cooler, but maybe it's just the way Sinestro. I think the real key is honestly backtracking. The way Sinestro's drawn is better, so he looks less goofy in that costume. With that, with the super out of proportion head and that clown, almost like that clown jester collar on his uniform. That always was a weird look, but it's because of the way he's been drawn. I think when we see him in that standard Sinestro gear, it's not as jarring, I think, as it used to be. But after all those years of him being in the yellow uniform, it's weird seeing him wear anything but the Sinestro Corps uniform.
No, I'm with you. All right, let's jump into it. We got 3 issues to talk about tonight, and I guess I'm kicking things off with number 4, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So, Infinite Frontier, numero 4. Let's see. Yay, digital's just paging through. You know what? I don't want to waste any time, so I'm just going to Are we going to recap, review, or do it issue by issue?
I kind of assumed we talk about all of it at once, but I don't. But if you prefer to talk about each issue, I don't really have a problem with it one way or the other. It's
okay. Yeah, let's do that.
Which one? Talk about each issue on its own?
Yeah.
Okay. All
right, just so we don't miss anything that we want to expand on, if we want to expand on anything. All right, so we open up with Captain Carrot talking to Machine Head. He's saying, after all this stuff with the Batman from Earth Zero is over, I'm going to go back home and settle down and blah, blah, blah. He says, the crashed multiverse ship parts are in your lab, Machine Head. And he says, I'm going to go down and check it out. They ask where President Superman and Thomas are. They're over in the White House, where President Ellis has apparently been gone for about 24 hours, and everybody was getting worried. But they go into the Oval Office. The aide, Courtney, is dismissed after she updates him, and he says he speaks with Kellex from the Oval Office after she leaves and says home away from home. And then either they're transported or hollow stuff comes up. I don't know what the hell happens. But the Oval Office becomes like a miniature fortress of solitude. And he and Kellex start going over some footage of Lex Luthor from President Superman's Earth and their interactions in the past, because basically Lex was developing a way to travel to other worlds in the multiverse, a transmatter symphonic array, but never finished it. They narrow down the possible locations of this thing down to 10. President Ellis then just quick super speeds away and says, actually make that one location. He warns Thomas that they might be walking into a trap. They go and find the headquarters of where Lex is, which looks like the Legion of Doom's headquarters, just on the ground. And after they work their way past some robotic sentries, they open the vault where Luthor is and starts confronting him, but they turn him around in the chair, and he's got a hole in his chest, and he's been dead for about a day or two. The schematics for the ship are there, and Thomas says someone killed him for it. Meanwhile, over on Earth Zero, Cameron is speaking with Bones about everything that's been going on. Cameron was not destroyed by Captain Atom from another universe going crazy nuclear, because Extract popped in and saved her right before the blast, or / during the blast. They walk into a big room together where we see Obsidian and Alan Scott strung up, asking about Jade. but they're just going to load them onto the carrier arc, which they do. They're talking about how Hammond's ship should be already on location. Last word was that he actually got his hands on Roy Harper. And Bone says another reason everybody needs to hurry. Cameron asks where they're going. Bone says classified. He says, Chase, you got to understand, our world is constantly under attack. Often it's from here, but the most dangerous have been from outside. We can't take another time-space event, and the heroes are doing nothing to cut it off at the pass. So I bit the bullet and made a deal, one that will keep our world protected from the rest of the multiverse, and once we're done, we'll be safe. And he shows a projection of all kinds of people, various Superman, Anti-Monitor, Mitzi's Pitlick, Extant, and Parallax, and Batman Who Laughs, Pandora, Superboy Prime, all that stuff. Anyways, she said, did you know that he wasn't from our world? He says, I need you to understand we have a lot of work to do. You don't want to be on this ship when it takes off. She shoots him in the leg, says, we're all going. They load up. He says, you don't understand. It's a place of endings. You've doomed us, Chase, and the ship takes off. Meanwhile, over on the other ship, we see Black Lantern, Roy Harper going up against the All-Star Squadron / Infinity Inc. Reimagined with Power Girl, Wildcat, Atom Smasher, Jade, so on and so forth. Jade confronts him and tries to get through to Roy. She does so. They ask why doesn't he just take, like Atom Smasher, and then just ask why don't you just take the ring off? He says, well, what if it's the only thing keeping me alive? Also, it showed me my daughter's alive. I need to figure out where she is. Jade very quickly explains what happened to her. Essentially, they were all meeting at the JSA Brownstone when Extract and them popped in. She shot Jade with this gun, which was supposed to teleport everybody away from the location. But when Jade got hit, it triggered something in the Starheart, and she ended up in the bleed outside of the ship. So she went in and freed the others, and they arrive over on Earth Omega, just hovering outside of Earth Omega. And as they look towards the surface, they see Anti-Monitor's shadow demons. We can see Flash is still running on the treadmill while Psycho Pirate is telling him to run. Roy Harper's ring lights up. He says, what if my daughter's down there? And suddenly everything flashes, and boom, the two ships actually collide with each other. The one that took off earlier and the ones that everybody's on, because their frequencies collided. It's going to be a rough landing. They crash down onto the surface of Earth Omega and over in the House of Heroes, which is our Justice League incarnate. We see President Superman and Thomas Wayne Batman show up. He says, maybe we've been looking at all the wrong places and should look more at you. Any word from Flash, Machine Head? He says he's nowhere to be seen. The shuttle is nearly built. We should have a good idea what Lex Luthor was up to. Your Lex did design the shuttle, and it appears the metal may have come from your world. Lex tried to develop multiversal travel many times before and failed. Someone from outside Earth 23 must have helped him. So President Superman tries to have Harbinger run a search for all signs of multiversal travel since the multiverse was restored. She says request denied, to which he uses Calyx to try and hack in. He finds the message from Barry Allen, which says that he's reporting in that, call emergency meeting, connect with the Justice League, tell them death follows us again, which we saw in a previous issue. Meanwhile, Thomas is running a search for Batman, and we see Batman, Bruce Wayne on so many different worlds, including the last world that Thomas confronted him on, Earth Zero. He says, I didn't beat him. He came back stronger. He has family with him. I tried to tell you not to be Batman like a foolish and scared old man. That was wrong of me. You were always Batman. Meanwhile, President Ellis decides that we're going to go to Earth Omega, and right then Machine Head turns around and attacks Thomas Wayne. He said, and then as everyone is shocked, he attacks everybody else. He opens the door, says, welcome our new guests. He takes everybody down. Captain Carrot asks why. He says, my world, Earth 8, was invaded by an alternate reality. We tried to fight the war in secret, but ultimately we lost. I lost. For years I questioned how, and all signs pointed to one place, Earth Zero, he says as he kicks Thomas Wayne, Flashpoint, Batman in the chin. He says, I don't want to destroy the multiverse. I want to keep us separate. No more crossovers between worlds. But ironically, I wasn't alone. There are a lot of people in the multiverse who feel the same. And so we came together knowing there must be a sacrifice to correct a great injustice. And behind him, we see a bunch of people show up, including Magog, Sinestro Corps Joker. It looks like Dr. Sivana, Superwoman from Earth 3, and Lady Quark from, I forget which Earth, but she showed up for the first time in Crisis on Infinite Earths. A bunch of people show up, and it's next War on Earth Omega. And our creative team is Joshua Williamson, writer, Paul Pelletier, Jesus Marino, and Zermako is our pencilers, Norm Rapmond, Raul Fernandez, and Zermako is our inkers. Hi-Fi is our colorist. Tom Napolitano is our letterer. Nick Gerrits did the cover. Brian Hitch and Alex Sinclair and puppeteer Lee. John K. Snyder 3 and Brennan Wagner did the variant covers. Diego Lopez, associate editor, and Jamie S. Rich is our editor.
One thing I can say, and I thought this before we got to these 3 issues, man, Thomas Wayne Batman, they really take a big steam and dump on him throughout this whole. He's like a clod. He serves a little bit of a purpose in this, more as a distraction. But I mean, I was like, everybody in the whole multiverse is, the omniverse is like crapping on Thomas Wayne Batman, and he just comes out looking like a schnook in most of this. I mean, he's a little sentimental on this, like you said, about seeing all the different versions of Bruce. I don't know. I didn't like the way Thomas Wayne was treated in this miniseries at all.
I didn't know you had an attachment to him.
I don't have a huge attachment to him, but it seemed a little odd. I kind of, in my mind, always see the Thomas Wayne Batman as kind of a badass, and it's kind of like, I understand he's softened a little. I get that, but it just seems like it's like a puppy that everybody else wants to kick, which is sad by itself, but it seems like it's like the same dog. You have like 6 dogs in the room, everybody kicks the same dog when they're leaving, and that's what Thomas Wayne is in this entire series. It's like everybody has to like kick or go after or blame Thomas Wayne, like Magog did the other issue. That just kind of bugs me in this whole thing. I don't think this is probably the least interesting issue of the 3.
Yeah, a lot of staging ground stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I did like the splash, the double center page, this kind of the pseudo double splash page with all basically the threats, all the heroes, and also all the threats to the multiverse that we've seen in all these different crises. I thought that was a nice touch. I wish they had shown Parallax with his cape though.
We got Extant, we got Parallax, we got
the Monitor, we got the Anti-Monitor, we have Flashes up the wazoo, we have Dr. Manhattan,
yep,
Batman Who Laughs, Superman Prime, like you said, Pandora. Who's the one I'm missing next to Parallax? Alex Luthor is obviously the one right next to him, but because I know he looks super familiar. He looks like Graven, but I'm sure it's not supposed to be Graven.
I don't know. There's Mr. Mind from 52. Who's the one with the black cape and the white face between Extant?
That's what's his face from that we just did for Future State.
Oh yeah, that's right. And then there's next. I don't know who this woman is, the big woman next to Misty's Pitlick, but who's this guy? He's from the Convergence event, right?
Yeah, it's Talos, isn't it?
Talos. Yeah. There you go.
Cha-ching! I finally can able to pull something out of my ass without it. That's Talos from Convergence. So pretty much every crisis or pseudo crisis event that we've had in DC, probably beginning with Crisis on Infinite Earths, there is a representation here of all these or anything that's led to playing around with the multiverse and the timeline, that those characters are represented here, which is cool. Which I do appreciate. I mean, you get a little bit. I mean, obviously, you get more of the whole Bones chase thing, especially in issue 5. I mean, issue 5, you get a lot of the explanation for everything of what's going on in issue 5. But it continues what we said about the first 3 issues for the most part. The pacing was kind of slow. So even the first 4 issues of this series are pretty slow. They definitely could have at least cut 1 issue out of this thing, if not 2, to make it tighter and to get to just basically to get to the point. But it's not bad. And I like Pelletier's art. I always have a soft spot for Pelletier's art, especially when because he did the Outsiders when the Eradicator was part of the Outsiders. So that's and other. I mean, he's drawn Green Lantern and other things too. But it's just that he's got a distinctive art style that every time even without knowing he's in the book, if you see a couple of panels and like, oh, that's him. And I like it as opposed to like Raimi that we don't. So.
Well, what do you think about the reveal of what happened to Jade?
It was. I mean, it was okay. I mean, we related. What, you've been related to the Starheart, and I mean, that's also. I mean, which we obviously get another reference to the Starheart in issues 5 and 6 related to Jade.
Yeah.
It's convenient. A lot of this stuff is convenient. You know, the relevance of Alan and Jade and Obsidian. That obviously we get more of an explanation for that in issue 5 too. But I mean, it's a little forced. It's a little okay. I mean, it's a little bare bones, no pun intended.
No, he's just we spent so much time with Obsidian and Alan, like, where's Jade? What happened to her? Like, almost trying to solve a mystery, and then like we get the explanation in barely a page.
Well, yeah, and even as we know, as we wrap this up, the idea that, oh, like you said, it's like trying to find out what happened to Jade, and they're desperate searching for her, and then she's kind of like, oh, it's like, you guys thought I needed help. It's like, yeah, there are things that don't really work here. You can make a case, and we'll talk about this more once we get through issue 6. Just the pivot Darkseid's able to make between issues 5 and 6 when things change, that seems a little forced and a little like, oh, okay, kind of too. So this certainly isn't an event, and even as a precursor to an event, I just think it's okay.
Yeah. Who's Bones supposed to be? What's the character's name?
Director Bones, Mr. Bones.
Yeah, because he flashes there, and we see him later in your issue.
Well, I don't know he is a character that is his relevance in DC. We've seen him before, clearly. I don't know that much about him. I just know that, you know, obviously he's with this DEO thing that he's running it at the moment. But he's a character that I remember seeing, you know, because he's so distinctive. But I've never really understood the relevance of him. And I guess we get a little bit more of the relevance of him in, you know, of this version.
He's Mr. Bones from Infinity Inc. He's one of those.
Yeah, Mr. Bones, who became Director Bones because he's running the DEO or whatever.
Okie dokie. All right. Artistically, I did want to mention, I really did like the pages specifically with Jade and Roy, especially that hugging panel. I thought that was really cool looking.
No, it was good. I thought I did think that artwork was pretty good, as opposed to, as nice as it was seeing all these villains or antagonists and related to the crises, that I don't think that art was particularly strong. I know they, based on the way they were doing it, going for a lot of detail on some of these characters probably wasn't likely, no matter what, based on how the size and how they're put out, the way they're being viewed and spaced on the page. But I didn't think that was more conceptually, that works more than I think artistically. I do think there are some, you know, Power Girl, and there are some other things that, you know, that pop in this issue. So I think the art overall is pretty good in this issue.
For sure. All right. Issue 5.
All right, issue 5. I also have the digital for this, so I have some notes to help me along the way. Well, basically, issue 5 is the lifting of the veil, where we really we get the real explanation for really what to a large extent what Darkseid's trying to do. That there's obviously more to what Darkseid's trying to do than even his lackeys understand. But we get the majority of the exposition from Psycho Pirate, and his original Earth 2 got wiped out in Crisis, and he also was haunted by the fact that he remembered everything, and everybody kept at the time, oh, there's no multiverse and everything else, but he's haunted by the fact that not only did he lose his world, he knew that conceptually the multiverse existed, when at the time nobody did. So his basic view on this, and this became Darkseid's basic view on this, the reason why Darkseid is trying to manipulate and take control of what he's trying to take control of, is because conceptually there's always another crisis around the corner, and every single time there's a crisis, some world inevitably kind of gets like left out in the cold. They get wiped out, they get sacrificed for the quote unquote greater good. And kind of like that line from the Phantom Menace, there's always a bigger fish, there's always another crisis, and that's going to happen over and over and over again. So what happened with Psycho Pirate and a bunch of other people basically put together, and this is where we find out where Director Bones is a remnant of the original Earth 2, right? They're Earth 2.
Yeah, right? Mr. Bones is from Earth 2 because of Infinity Inc. and everything.
Right. And Psycho Pirate and the team that gets put together. A lot of these characters are remnants of the original Earth 2 that were then rolled over like into Earth 0 and other Earths because of Crisis on Infinite Earth, and then things that followed. The idea was Psycho Pirate. This is how he was recruited by Darkseid conceptually, and how all the people who are allied with Darkseid, as we find out, even some of the people we didn't know at the time. Same thing with Machine Head, which is a stupid ass name. That all these worlds, they basically were promised. It's like, hey, if you ally with me, Darkseid, I will promise your world will be safe. I will protect your world. It's almost like a Don Corleone thing. It's like, I do you this favor, and I might call on you to do me a service. This day may never come, but the reality is we know it's going to. And it's like, that's exactly, Darkseid basically is recruiting allies. It's going to be a time when I'm going to need you. I need backup. And when that happens, you better be there when I call. The problem with the multiverse is there's too much connective tissue. And there's too much jumping in between worlds in the multiverse, which is part of the reason why all these crises happen. So Darkseid's real plan is to make sure that he's going to cut off a world jumping and multiverse hopping. That's what on the surface what Darkseid's plan really is here, and that's why they're able to put together the group of people that are, which we end up finding is basically they call themselves Injustice Incarnate. That's where you get the Darkseid Joker and Magog, all these and Superwoman, all these characters that believe in the concept that the multiverse shouldn't be having this much interaction, that it just leads to crises, leads to disaster. And the fact that Darkseid is basically willing to protect their worlds if they're willing to ally with him, it's like, oh, okay, that doesn't seem like that. That doesn't really seem like such a bad gig. And that's why, Mr. Bones, Director Bones, he's also the remnant. And the other twist we get in this is we find out Extract, which of course is spelled inconsistently throughout this issue. One time it's with the X and one time it has the EX with it. That she's another Chase variant. She's a Chase from the original, Earth 2 as well. That's the basic premise of what's going on here. Alan gets all pissed at Bones. Is like, "Where's my daughter?" And Bones says, "Well, I don't know." It's like she was never supposed to be extracted. It's like I was just trying to start small before I grabbed the Justice Society. And Obsidian freaks out. I was like, why us? Is this because of our past? And he goes, because you're like me. You're all you didn't start on Earth 0. You're all remnants from an Earth that doesn't exist anymore, Earth 2. You were erased before forgotten. And he said, I thought no one would ever notice you were gone again. Which, on some levels, you can't really argue the point. So Alan's, about to go toe to toe with Bones. And of course, Jay just pops in like with do you remember the Starheart? And she hugs Alan and Obsidian, and that's where she gives that little line when she finds out they were there to save her. And it's like, oh, you really thought I needed saving? Oh, that's cute. Yeah, you have some of the Atom Smasher and Alan and some of the other characters that have a history, basically are greeting each other. We find everybody then notices the Flash on the treadmill, and the whole point of the Flash here. The Flash is being used, ideally, the master plan for using the Flash is that the Flash is being used to create a crack in the multiverse, in the new multiverse. So Darkseid can get to and contact and control what rests beyond.
In the Omniverse.
Yes, in the Omniverse.
A crack in the Omniverse.
But I thought they said but I thought they actually said crack in the multiverse.
We'll get to it in my issue.
Okay. Yeah, conceptually it's more the Omniverse, but I think they use both terms in the individual issues. Because again, the backstory is the Flash, when he went back in time to save his mom and all this stuff, he created a crack in the multiverse. And that had ramifications. It didn't just affect his world, it also affected other worlds in the multiverse. Such as Earth 8, which is where Machine Head's from, which is why he's part of the group, is that the Flash going back to save his mother made Earth 8 a harder, darker world than it used to be. And that didn't sit well with Machine Head. So that's part of basically one of the easy ways he was recruited into the concept of keeping the multiverse separate, all these worlds from crossing over. So the Flash, of course, continues to be brainwashed by Psycho Pirate into thinking that he's trying to save everyone, and so he continues to run on the treadmill. We have a big battle between Justice Incarnate and Injustice Incarnate. Alan creates a bunch of cool constructs of the JSA, leaping into battle. Psycho Pirate logically makes it clear to his team, it's like, do not allow them to interfere with the Flash. The Flash is getting close to breaking through. It's like you can feel it. We get to see what Barry's seeing and thinking about. If Barry Allen is going to save the day, and you see his whole family, it's like, yeah, to save the multiverse, as long as I have my family by my side. President Superman is seeing all this, and he's kind of getting pissed, and he breaks free like in an homage to the classic Superman breaking the chains off his chest, with his arm standing there with his arms spread and everything. That he goes, I've had enough of this. I was like, Barry, snap out of it. Machine Head takes on President Superman to delay him here, and everybody starts getting wrapped. They all start getting wrapped in chains, and we find out that Psycho Pirate explains this as that all of us here have our connections to the multiverse powers Earth Omega. It's a prison world, and the chains that bind it grow, so that you have no more multiverse travels, no more connections between worlds. Darkseid has the power he needs to control it all. This is where Psycho Pirate kind of screws up. He's talking to Roy. We get confirmation that Roy's Black Lantern ring is not from Earth Zero, that it's something older and darker. We find out that the Batman who laughs when he used a black ring, that's the reason why Roy Harper was resurrected. And that I did like the part about how Hal Jordan's ring basically found him because of his fearlessness. This Black Lantern ring found Roy because it was searching for someone who suffered. So it's obviously a slight variation on what a Black Lantern ring does and what it needs. But it's this really super powerful weapon, which Psycho Pirate even admits that technically Roy could use this weapon to save everyone there. But if he did that, of course, then it's like Roy would go full on zombie again, which has happened pretty much every time he's given into the power and created constructs with the Black Lantern ring. Psycho Pirate slips up, and also because he tries to make the deal with Roy. It's like, you join with us, do what we ask, and we will leave your Earth Zero alone, and your daughter will be safe. And that's when Roy realizes that, number one, his daughter is truly alive, but she's also not there, which is Liam. He thought that Lian was there, basically in Earth Omega, that's where he was going to find her. And it's like, no, she's still back on our Earth. And Roy says, you said this ring is powered by my suffering. It's like I've got more than enough. And he goes like full zombie mode, creates a lot of constructs which help free all the all the Justice Incarnate members and Alan and everyone else. And goes, I have faith in all of you. Damn it, save my daughter, save the multiverse. And as that's going on, then we get all the heroes leap back into action. It's like, you're done, Psycho Pirate, and everything else. And then we hear that it's too late, and any battle now will only feed my power. The multiverse barriers have been created. All of its citizens will kneel to me. Dark, and with my Omega Lantern at my side, I control all. Infinite evil. That's the actual title of this issue. Again, Williamson writer, Pelletier, Marino, Derenick pencilers, Rapman Fernandez, Derenick inkers, Hi-Fi color, Napolitano lettering, Gerard's cover, Hitch and Sinclair, John K. Snyder, and Brendan Wagner. They did the cover and they did the variant covers. Diego Lopez, associate editor, and Mike Cotton was the editor.
Yeah, okay.
It's a good issue, though.
It is, although it does feel very cluttered. I think so I hate to jump straight to the negative, but the first thing that struck me was the chains. Even with Psycho Pirate's explanation, it just does not make sense. I don't get it. So people just being on Earth Omega from another Earth, if enough people from enough Earths are on it, that's all it takes?
Well, maybe it has to do with like how much multiverse interaction and hopping that you do and how much crossover you have, that maybe it's almost like a chronal energy kind of thing, that you have more ties to the multiverse that way if you're doing that kind of interacting and jumping, plus the ties, plus the reference that it's a prison world. So the chain, so if the chains get a hold of you, maybe it's like they feed off of you. They feed off the energy on you, and they feed from you. I don't know. I'm not saying it makes a whole lot of sense, but that's all I could kind of make from it.
Yeah, it still just doesn't. Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's prison planets are nothing new, but the way it works and how it somehow slows the multiverse to a crawl, I don't know. None of that makes any real sense to me. Lots of good art moments here. I do like, particularly obviously as a Green Lantern fan, I like the splash page or half a splash page where we have Alan, Obsidian, and Jade coming towards the reader with a construct JSA. I thought that was pretty cool. And I like how Alan uses a construct Batman to face down the Sinestro Corps Joker.
Yes.
Which was cool looking as well. We never get an explanation of why there's a Sinestro Corps Joker. It's kind of one of those things like, well, yeah, of course there is. It all makes sense in terms of Barry Allen's first breach of the multiverse and what was that, Flash 123? Or is it 123? Flash of Two Worlds?
I think, yeah, I'm not 100%.
It's one of those few like issue numbers I'm pretty sure I remembered. Yeah, Flash 123. So that's cool. I have no connection to Cameron to begin with, so the reveal of Extract's identity was like, so who cares? Otherwise, I thought artistically maybe it's just the colorists. There's so much color, especially anytime the JSA is involved, because we're talking like the old school costumes, and Alan's costume is a perfect example. Like the Golden Age, nobody really cared about color schemes. It was just purple, red, gold, green. It all goes together, right? And so that was sort of the theme that was followed with a lot of the Golden Age characters. So anytime they're all teamed up together or they're proteges or anybody else, especially when you bring in other multiverse stuff, there's so much color on the page. It's just fun to look at. Psycho Pirate, to me, his personality has always been pretty damn annoying. But he's a villain. You're not supposed to like him. So I do like what Roy does here. He's like, he sets everybody free and says, hey, I'm gonna save the multiverse, or you guys save the multiverse, and then we wrap with Darkseid where he is. I think again, artistically, I think this stands out for me artistically more than it does narratively. I think that's the thing.
I don't know. I think you're right that it's cluttered, but in a way, part of the reason why I think this is probably my favorite issue is because of the fact that we've been building up to this. We've been slogging through the rest of the garbage for like 4 issues plus to get to this. And then at least we understand the rationale behind what's going on the surface. Now on the surface, and maybe the other thing I think that appeals to me about this issue is that it's very Zero Hour-esque. It's very Parallax-esque and what a lot of people are doing, but even in theory, which is not the real bottom line reason, there's more going on with Darkseid. What Darkseid's trying to do, they're obviously not trying to reset time, but they are trying to set things right. They are trying to protect things and look out and correct things that have happened before, and making deals with people. It's like, I'm trying to accomplish a greater good. So you may not like me, but what I'm saying is true. So join with me, and in exchange for this, you'll get that. And I did. So I did. There was an appeal to me there. It was interesting because I probably wouldn't have suspected that the idea that they were trying to keep on the surface, they were trying to keep all the universes in the multiverse / omniverse separate from each other. That their goals were basically to not destroy anything, but just make sure everything they were not interacting, that you weren't having to cross over. I think it might have been either way. The idea that, if they succeeded, like you mentioned about slowing everything down, like if they succeeded in in doing what they're trying to do, how the ramifications it would have on the multiverse. I don't know if I really bought that either. But I mean, I don't have a huge amount of ties to Psycho Pirate, but it's kind of, in a way, it was kind of cool for him to have his day in the sun here.
Yeah. Every time I blame the Dr. DC podcast for it, but every time Psycho Pirate comes up, like they have like a thing that they do. They can't help but go like kus say ba 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 Psycho Pirate.
Oy.
Oh my god. All right, anything else about issue 5?
No, we can roll into 6 if you want.
All right, rolling into 6. We have Barry Allen still running. He starts to come to, like, wait, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And then he gets a flash of Psycho Pirate and keeps running. He says he'll save the multiverse. The battle continues over on Earth Omega. Darkseid with Roy all chained up explains and sort of recaps for the reader a little bit of where we're at in terms of the Quintessence dying and all of his past versions combined into one ultimate version and blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, he continues and he says, once Flash cracks through our multiverse, I will have access to a door to what is beyond. You are my key, Omega Lantern. Through you, I can control the greatest force in any and all multiverses. Jade flies toward Darkseid to try and release him with her brother Obsidian. He says that Roy belongs to the dark now. He sets him loose to fight against Obsidian and Jade. Jade takes on the shadow demons while Obsidian goes up to Roy and, kind of appeals to him and his heart and everything, gets through to him. Machine Head and President Superman continue fighting one another. Thomas jumps in. Machine Head nearly beats him to death, but Superman knocks him out. Thomas tells President Superman to go save Barry. So President Superman flies towards the treadmill, grabs Barry, and I don't know what he does. I can't tell based on the art what actually happens if he grabs him off the treadmill or blows up the treadmill or whatever. It looks like he somehow breaks the treadmill and Barry's no longer running in a circle and Barry just runs off the treadmill. And because Barry's running so fast, everything explodes. There's a crack in the top of everything. The chains are gone. The fighting is over. The ring is off of Roy. He's free. He says, I'm free, but Darkseid standing there holding the ring says that no one is. We are all doomed now. The ring has gone quiet. Flash is gone. The crack is lost. The omniverse has been taken from me. You failed me, Psycho Pirate. Psycho Pirate, as he always does, complains and, oh, but it wasn't me. They cheated. And then he disappears saying, I'm needed in another event. The princess is in another castle. Machine Head tries to stand up and immediately take Psycho Pirate's place. He says, I can fix this. Darkseid uses his Omega beams and kills Machine Head. President Superman flies to take on Darkseid. Darkseid says today's battle is over, uses his Omega beams to transport everybody away. Everybody winds up back on their respective Earths. We kind of get some teasing for what's going on next. For instance, with the Justice League Incarnate, President Superman says they're going to find Flash in the crack in the Omniverse before Darkseid does. That's going to lead us into the next series, which is Justice League Incarnate #1. That's going to be the main thing to continue everything from the Infinite Frontier story arc here. Meanwhile, over on Earth Zero, we see people kind of getting together and talking about what the multiverse is and where everybody's at. This is Roy and Cameron talking about things. Obviously, he's going to go try and find his daughter. We know that Bones is gone. We don't know where he went, but we see a quick flash of him, and it looks like Question, Katana, Green Arrow, things like that. Alan, Obsidian, and Jade and the JSA checked in with the totality and are monitoring what Darkseid and Psycho Pirate did. There are no changes to the time-space balance, but they said Earth Omega is hidden. She talks a bit about all of her different variants, and he says it's time to get back to living. And as he's looking out over, and it looks like he's on a ferry heading towards Titan's Tower. Meanwhile, over on Earth Omega, we see Darkseid saying some important stuff here. He says they think they won. They don't understand what we unlocked today. Are you ready to bow to me? You will not fail me like Psycho Pirate. Will you not fail me like Psycho Pirate? Because all of the heroes in the multiverse will play a role in the coming wars, just as my family will. We have feuded before, but that needs to be left in the past. He's trying to give the Black Ring to Extract, it looks like. I have brought you all here so you can understand what is at stake. Earth Omega was never a world. It is a piece of a resting enemy, dormant since the first crisis. And now it wakes. We will find the flash and the crack in the omniverse. I am not the only one who seeks this power, but only I will control the great darkness. And here we see flashes of, I believe that's Trigon. We see the Upside Down Man. We see Eclipso, and we see Necron standing in front of the Black Central Power Battery. In the Great Darkness teaser, that we get the epilogue that Flash is still running. He says he's breaking out of his little trance, and he stops running. He trips and falls. He looks up, sees where he'd been. He says, I've been here before. When I died, I remember where. And then a voice says, as he's looking up at a sky of cracked earths stringing across like a pearl necklace across the sky, a voice says, this is Multiverse 2. It was what came before, destroyed by the Anti-Monitor in the first crisis, and the Empty Hand and the Gentry fed on it for years. It was all my fault. Its ruin started with me. They made me watch as each world was swallowed in darkness. I tried to warn them, and now you're already getting hints as to who this is. Page turn reveal, but no one would listen. They could have stopped it, but they didn't. Do you have any idea what that does to a person to be forced to witness infinite Earths being erased? The Anti-Monitor destroyed it. Alexander Luthor tried to find the perfect world, and Darkseid wishes to control it, but they are all wrong. There is another way. Flash asks who is. He says, my name is Pariah, and it is time that we moved on. Stopped apologizing for the past and let the real multiverse truly live. He touches Flash. Flash goes all cartoony, comic booky, and he's sitting at home in a very 60s sort of Silver Age style art style around a family dinner, and we see Earth Flash 1 is what this is labeled. We see Jay, Wally, Iris, the Tornado Twins. It looks like that's probably got to be little Wally, as in Iris's brother and or cousin. Anyways, Pariah says, we'll all be happy no matter what. And we see him looking down on Earth with a flash symbol across it. It says, to be continued in 2022. And where did my credits page go? Did I miss it at the beginning? I got caught up there?
Yeah, it was on the double splash page that began. Pages 2 and 3.
Let me do that then, because I know it changes a little bit here and there. And I did like the art here. Okay, yeah. So Joshua Williamson is our writer. Zermanko did the art. Oh, only Zermanko. Okay. Romulo Fajaro Jr. did the colors. Tom Napolitano did the lettering. Mitch Gerrits did the cover. Brian Hitch and Alex Sinclair, puppeteer lead, did the variant covers. Then we have Diego Lopez as our associate editor, and Mike Cotton is our editor.
Woohoo!
Artistically fantastic. A lot, especially the bigger panels where the art Zermanko had the opportunity to really put in lots of detail and stuff. I thought it really stood out. And especially towards the end, he plays with different styles. So I like any time, and we talked about this a lot when we were reviewing Morrison's run on Green Lantern, the various styles and stuff that Liam Sharp was able to master and showcase in that series. It's not like Zermanko's opportunities here are as varied as like Liam on the Grant Morrison run, but we can see him working with a lot of different stuff here, which I think is cool looking.
I think the art was good. I still overall prefer the art in issue 5. I like more consistency, I think, generally speaking. Some of the pages I like that the first double splash page with the credits. I don't like the art in that at all. But again, it's very often in a lot of these with these characters, there's not a lot of detail in some of these, the way they're drawn, or it's like, so I think that could be part of the issue that I have there. But I just think the artwork is better in 5 as a whole.
Yeah. So what'd you think about the whole Great Darkness thing?
Well, I don't have a whole lot of ties to the super relevance of that, which we'll talk about. But conceptually, it kind of bothers me that so either Darkseid didn't fail, but he wanted people to, he wanted the heroes to think that he failed, or that Darkseid's real good at pivoting from one to the next because he couldn't get that crack in the multiverse / omniverse, which they use way too interchangeably in this, even though conceptually it makes sense because all of the Omniverse is just made up of tons of multiverses. It's just that there's more universes that exist now than exist before, so that's why it's an Omni. But it's still a multiverse. It's just a lot more of them. It was interesting when he talks about how that he hasn't been deterred. Basically, he's still on one level he's still he's gonna look for the crack, and when he finds it, then he's gonna. But the really interesting thing was the idea that Earth Omega is not really a world. It basically is just a piece. It's just a piece of an old enemy that's been dormant for a long time. That was interesting. The ring coming back online, offering it to Chase when she asks before he says because all the heroes of the multiverse will play a role in the coming wars, because she asked him why did he basically let them escape? And technically she's the one who sent them away, but I mean, why didn't he just kill them? And that was his explanation, because they're basically all going to be needed, just like his family will, even though they were kind of been estranged and at each other's throats at times, but that doesn't matter anymore either, because we're dealing with big picture things here. Now, I will admit that the dark side we're getting in this is a little more intriguing than your standard dark side.
Mm-hmm.
So that at least offers a little bit of hope to the concept that even though I'm so sick of dark side in general, regardless of which version it is, that at least he's not acting like your typical dark side. So maybe there's hope that this as a villain or whatever he is, whether he's more than a villain at this point, whether that gives a little bit of hope. I thought the epilogue I like in general, even though again I don't have a huge amount of ties from my reading experience with Crisis on Infinite Earths. I do like a lot of the reference points to that. Just like the general idea that Barry Allen's the one who basically he's the one who basically set everything in motion for all these problems, because he's the one who basically jumped universes the first time. And ever since he did, he basically that once you put that fissure in, that it's just been getting weaker ever since and creating more and more problems. So I do kind of like that concept. Can't say it's super original but it's logical. So I think that's why it works.
I hate that we keep coming back to it, though, because it makes it seem like Barry did it on purpose. It's like, no, he just happened to run so fast. He was like, oh, shit, what did I do? He did it on accident.
But on the bright side, if it was the Grant Gustin Flash, at least it would make perfect sense. It's like, oh, there's that idiot doing it again. It's like, Nora failed the science test, and we go run on the treadmill and go back in time. It seemed a little. I think issue 6 seemed a little anticlimactic to me. It seemed a little anticlimactic. 5 was really building up well. I'm not talking about, once we get back to Earth Omega and Darkseid is waxing poetic about they think they won, but ha ha ha. I don't mean that part's fine, but I mean just the way it's all nice little. Everybody's feeling good about stuff and everything's seemingly resolved. And it's like, the Flash is gone, the crack is gone. See you guys next week. That seemed a little anticlimactic. I know now when we get to the two pseudo epilogues, that was his and the Flash, that we're supposed to realize that no, it's not really over and it's not as nice and neat. It's just maybe it's a Pyrrhic victory, but it's really not really a victory for anyone at this point. And Darkseid's still on his trail to do what he needs to do or wants to do.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Bones here. This team of Green Arrow and I think Katana, Question, all of that. I don't know what this is, but I do know obviously we'll see Roy in the Teen Titans Academy series. There's the Justice League Incarnate series that's coming up and everything. I'm assuming we'll probably see some more Flash and the Flash stuff, because there are some random multiverse hijinks that happen here and there with that. But I was looking for stuff about what this team is that Bones is standing with here, but maybe we'll just see that in 2022. I mean, it ends with an obvious cliffhanger. We got the stuff with the Great Darkness, which we'll talk about in a second, and then we've got Pariah at the end. So reveals, cool. There's some oh shit moments, but ultimately it does sort of feel like, what was the point of all this?
I mean, for people, we've kind of figured this out a while ago. Based on the first few issues, it just seemed to me the vibe was there. But for people who really still thought this was like going to be an event, then they probably were sorely disappointed by issue 6, especially.
Mm-hmm.
That we kind of suspected for a while that this was not really this wasn't an event. I don't necessarily think the Justice Incarnate is really going to be an event either. It may be. I think probably what comes after that is going to be the event. But the reality is, since it's clearly not an event, that yes, it's not inconsequential. But again, at the end of the day, short term, all you probably needed to do was read the 2 epilogues, the Darkseid one and the Flash Pariah thing, and that you probably would have gotten enough out of the story to understand all you really need to know short term about it. As far as the DC as a whole, not with all these individual characters. Obviously, if you care or you're interested in Roy, then a lot of the stuff that happened in this series is interesting. If you don't know much about Roy, you don't care, then the whole thing with his daughter and how you got, and even having the Black Lantern ring, losing the Black Lantern ring, none of that really matters to you. If you're looking at how it affected DC as a whole, you get a lot, basically between a lot of the exposition from Psycho Pirate in the beginning of issue 5 and all the stuff that happens at the end of issue 6, that kind of is all you seemingly would need to know to understand the quote unquote importance of this 6-issue mini.
Honestly, it just reminded me. Which is the movie? Is it what's the Harry Potter movie with the Wizard's Cup?
Goblet of Fire.
Goblet of Fire. There we go.
My favorite one.
So honestly, that is sort of. I mean, I'm making a bad comparison because that is a good movie and there's stuff revealed in that movie that's important and it's a nice story on its own. But that movie ends with, he's back. Voldemort's back. Like a warning to everybody, and that then takes us into the rest of the series. That's what this felt like. He's back. Darkseid's back, and that's it. Which technically we knew from the
Infinite Frontier 0 or whatever.
Yeah, but it's so okay. Then to narrow it down a little bit. It's like the moment in the graveyard from that movie where we see him come back, we see him gain power, we see him meet with his minions, we see him sort of do a bit of exposition and explain what he's gonna do, see him kill some people, and then Harry escapes and and then it's like then we get the warning, so we get greater context to he's back, but there's nothing really delivered there.
True.
That's what it really feels like. I mean, there's one panel to talk about, guys. There's Necron.
Yes, which is a nice touch. And what this Black Lantern ring is and why it's the way it is, it's interesting for us.
Yeah, I really need to read Death Metal.
That is the fact that it's suffering. That it seems that suffering, it's not just death. It's the fact that you basically you need someone that's had great suffering in order to be able to use this ring, and that's why it found Roy and why he was able to be that the Omega Lantern, if you will. So I did like that. I did like the idea that it's a ring from another universe, not ours.
Which makes you wonder, is this Necron from another universe?
Yeah.
And can Necron be from another universe if he's basically Death incarnate?
That is true.
Are there multiple versions of Necron? Because at one point, and obviously it's like the latest, like the Crime Syndicate series, we talked about the Overlords of Oa. At one point, though, there was the idea that there's only one Oa in the multiverse, right? There's only one Guardians.
That we were certainly told that at one point, at the very least.
Yeah, but it seems like that's not the case anymore. So, but is that the case for Necron? Is there, and can there only really be one Necron because he's Death?
I don't know. Considering all these other characters, with the exception of the Guardians, I think they've always been the idea that there were multiple versions of these characters.
Yeah.
So I would suspect, even without retconning stuff, that probably there was more than one Necron.
Yeah. Got the Upside Down Man. I'm pretty sure that's Trigon. So Trigon, obviously, probably Teen Titans Academy. Upside Down Man, Justice League Dark, or maybe Shazam, one of the other Magic titles. I don't know when we plan on seeing Necron, but I know Eclipso has shown up on some solicits for the covers to Superman and the Authority. I don't know. I'm not reading that book. I'm not paying attention to that book, but I know I saw Eclipso on one of those covers. So probably going to be showing up over there. But The Great Darkness. That was my deluxe edition of the Legion of Superheroes, The Great Darkness Saga, plopping on my desk. This thing, oh man, when did this thing copyright 2010. I haven't read this hardcover in 10, 11 years. I bought it. I have it. It's one of the most popular, it's the most popular Legion story of all time. Mostly largely agreed upon by people who like the Legion. So it has been a decade since I've read this. It's on my to read pile now to read it again. But for those of you playing along at home, when Darkseid refers to the Great Darkness, go find and read or look up YouTube videos recapping and explaining or whatever suits your fancy in terms of research. Legion of Superheroes, Great Darkness Saga, which is Legion of Superheroes 248 through 284, through 296, and annual number 1. This is from Levitz and Giffen, so it's good stuff in terms of that era of storytelling. There's some others, obviously, since this issue has come out, there's a lot of articles online talking about what the Great Darkness is, and it's already been teased in the Rebirth era of things. Dream Girl and Dr. Fate have alluded to it at one point or another. The Great Darkness actually was introduced not in the Great Darkness Saga, but in the pages of Swamp Thing by Alan Moore. So I'm going to read a 2-sentence thing from CBR, which did an article about the Great Darkness based on this issue being released. So in the pre-crisis DC universe, a cabal of sorcerers known as the Brujeria, Brujeria, wish to see the multiversal chaos caused by the crisis on Infinite Earths to do the impossible. Wish to use the multiversal chaos to do the impossible, destroy heaven and replace it with the primordial darkness. An alliance of mystical forces, including Etrigan, John Constantine, Swamp Thing, and the Spectre, worked to combat their machinations, with Swamp Thing eventually being the key to convince the Great Darkness that good and evil needed each other to exist in harmony. So in a very, very, very condensed nutshell, which doesn't even get into this whole Great Darkness Saga stuff from Legion of Superheroes, that's what the Great Darkness is, which then leads you to speculate a couple different things. For me personally, it makes me wonder, okay, isn't the Great Darkness then, doesn't that mean that Necron, as we read him in Blackest Night, is a servant of the Great Darkness, or in some way working with him, because he wanted to return everything to, he didn't say the word specifically primordial darkness, but basically before light, right? So if I remember my Blackest Night right. And then also here, according to this, Swamp Thing 49, Swamp Thing eventually being the key to convince the Great Darkness that good and evil needed each other to exist in harmony. The last time Swamp Thing played a big role in something was when he came back in Brightest Day and took on a dark version of himself, which was somehow Black Lantern inspired or connected in some way. So should we be paying attention to Swamp Thing? Yes, you should be paying attention to Swamp Thing because Ram V is writing it, and everything Swamp Thing series that for the most part's ever been done, nobody realizes that Swamp Thing is an excellent series until it's already done after the fact. Sorry, issue 10 is coming out here in a minute, and then it's almost done, and then it's done. But go read Ram V Swamp Thing. It's probably one of the best books DC is putting out right now, just telling you. But yeah, some speculation there. It's very interesting to me because, obviously we're going back to Great Darkness, we're going back into a lot of DC stuff, as well as just a lot of stuff that's been published in DC right now, but especially this Infinite Frontier series has made a lot of pulls to a lot of stuff from various points in DC history. We know that Green Lantern has done it in terms of referencing Mosaic. So the idea of Swamp Thing being a key in whatever's coming with the Great Darkness thing is not a far-fetched idea. And we know that in the pages of Justice League, based on the solicits, the most recent solicits, the Justice League annual from DC Comics, which is the Bendis Justice League, is talking a bit about the Legion over there. So that's the next time we're supposed to see Legion in DC publication. So there's lots of little pieces of where this story leaves us to follow throughout the DC universe until whatever the hell is supposed to happen next year.
It certainly it opens the door for next year being interesting, depending how they pick up on some of these threads. Who knows how that's going to play out? But I'm more intrigued than I would have been otherwise, based on the way they tied things together at the end of this, and again having Darkseid be a little less Darkseid-ish. I think that helped. It doesn't mean we won't fall back into the same problems with him, but at least they put some effort into this, at least as far as trying to make it have deeper meaning, deeper ties back to pretty much some ties to all the previous crises. And it just makes you wonder how this will play out. See if they can stick the landing, because we know that's always the challenge.
Yeah. For those of you playing along at home, I have all the trade paperbacks of the Saga of the Swamp Thing. So because of the CBR article, I guess I am now, there it is, issue 49. All right. So Saga of the Swamp Thing, book 4 in my series has been added to my to read pile. So that I guess I'll read Saga of the Swamp Thing 49 and 50, see where the Great Darkness got its starts, and then jump into the Great Darkness saga. That's a lot of reading just to understand what the hell's happening.
Well, on the bright side, you have time.
Yeah, for sure. I got 2022, and it's probably a summer event, right? So
if what they're referring to is an actual event, yes, because when does the Justice Incarnate thing start?
I can tell you. So the solicits just came out for December. I'm pretty sure it's November is when Incarnate comes out, but I will double check.
And do we know how many issues it is?
I will double check that as well.
So, but again, by the time we get to the real ramifications for this, I'm certainly working on the assumption that it's not going to be in the Justice Incarnate book itself, that that'll be something that comes out of that probably. But
Justice Incarnate number 2 was solicited for December, the first week of December. So yes, issue 1 comes out in November. It is a 5-issue series as of right now. I am getting it. I wasn't going to, but the solicit for number 2 made me want to do it. I'm not going to dig into it, but first of all, the 1 in 25 variant is incredibly cool. But also, issue 2 deals with Earth 13, which is that magical part of the DC universe, multiverse, where like Super Demon is a thing, and there's a version of Ragman over there, that whole thing. So I will be reading Justice League Incarnate, folks. So if anything of note happens, I'll mention it on the air.
I might give it a shot to start with. That conceptually has less of an appeal to me than this did. That team doesn't do much for me.
There you go. I just sent you a link. That's the 1 in 25 variant cover for Justice League Incarnate number.
Well, I could see why that would appeal to you.
It's just, that's so fucking cool looking. All right. Anyways, but yeah, I'm just thinking in my head of all the tendrils to follow from this. I think that if I were to pick, my biggest curiosity is probably Great Darkness, followed as a very close second whatever Pariah is doing. But if I'm being realistic, I think we'll learn more about the Great Darkness before we see Pariah again. I bet we don't see Pariah until whatever is mentioned is coming in 2022.
That's probably true. I think I would probably bet on that too, especially the way that ends, because of the fact that it makes it seem like again very similar, another 0 Hour vibe, almost like almost everybody can have their own world, your world can live, everybody wins, the Hal Jordan line. So that's what makes you wonder about when he talks about what the real multiverse, what exactly that means. So there are definitely things spinning out of this which are interesting to me. Just by itself, that group of that Justice League Incarnate ain't one of them.
Yeah, the next place we're seeing Legion is the Justice League Annual. Yeah, there's so much shit. I'm thinking about my to read pile. I got that volume of Swamp Thing now. I got the Great Darkness Saga. I still haven't finished Doomsday Clock, so I got to do that. Doomsday Clock has me wanting to actually, before I even start trying to reread it, I want to reread the Batman Flash the Button thing. I still need to read Metal and Death Metal. So like, which I don't even have the trades for. So yeah, my to read pile, like just for like catching up on whatever the hell is like the background of what's happening for the DC universe right now is massive. Not to mention just my regular, just straight up to read pile, like trades I've purchased that I still need to read. Like I have the recent Black Canary Bird of Prey trade paperback, which has got stuff from like early Flash comic. Basically, guys, like there's stuff by Robert Kanigher and Gardner Fox and Carmine Infantino and Murphy Anderson in this thing. We're talking old school Black Canary stories. Like just that alone, that's just a couple hundred pages. I've got so much shit to read. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that I have to do this much research just to figure out and remind myself of where the DC universe could be going. But at the same time, I could just read whatever's coming out as it's coming out and not care about it. But that's just not the kind of mind I have. I have to know so that I can get the reference, so that I can make some sort of wild speculation about where we could go. And I have no control over that. That's just how my mind works.
Yep.
All right. So that was Infinite Frontier. Disjointed and crazy, and ultimately didn't give us a whole lot more than we already had, but a couple of those shit moments at the end. And great art throughout, I think.
Yeah, I would say the art is overall in this thing was, generally speaking, it was consistently good. And I can't say the story was boring. It did move, clearly it moved pretty slow through the first 4 issues. Not a whole lot happened. So that shouldn't really be happening. Not in the 6-issue mini. I mean, if you are going to have 6 issues, and there really should be enough happening in each issue to justify it being 6, or else they could have just made this a 4 or 5 issue mini and accomplished the same thing, and it'd been tighter and it would have been more interesting. So that's the main negative to it. It was a nice building block from Infinite Frontier 0, and kind of disappointed in a way that I guess that'll probably come down the road, that we didn't get anything else to deal with the quintessence in this.
I really hope they're not dead. At the very least, for my own edification with, Phantom Stranger and of course Ganthet. So here's hoping.
True.
All right. Well, before we wrap up, I just want to let everybody know there is some more Green Lantern, or rather LanternCast related content to consume out there. If you go over to our YouTube channel, which is LanternCast Vids, you will see I have posted yet another trading card unboxing video. We have our 1996 Skybox and Fleer. Skybox and Fleer worked together for the first time for some DC stuff, at least, and that was the Skybox Fleer DC Outburst Firepower cards from 1996. I got those and unboxed those over on the channel. It's about a 40-minute video. It's a trading card unboxing video. Those things go a little long. Watch it at ×2 speed if you want. There are a bunch of Green Lantern related cards, Kyle Rayner and Parallax specifically, and all of those ones are actually drawn by Darryl Banks. So there's some Darryl Banks artwork in there if you need some incentive to go check those out.
Yeah, they are some nice cards in that set.
For sure. I know you've seen them before. Did you have a chance to watch the video?
I have not watched the full video yet. I have to make my time to do so, just like I still have to post that video that I made at this point. Luckily, it's not. I'm glad it's not time sensitive, or else I would have said screw it. But I really need to. It's also because of the way we've been editing. Because on the weeks on which we record and release in the same week, then I wouldn't be editing until like Wednesday or later, because we've been recording a week ahead. We've been recording in a week to release the following week, which means I'm usually finishing up, if I need to, any editing on Monday night, which is the best night for me to sit there and do any video editing too, because we usually record on Tuesdays before the whole thing starts all over again. Tuesday or Wednesday is when we usually record these days. So yeah, I just need this episode. I think is another one that's going to run longer than I would have hoped from an editing perspective, I'm sure. So I will try to, if I get the bulk of this done over the weekend, then maybe Monday I can actually do whatever I need to do to get that video up and watch yours. It's obviously before then.
Yeah, I'm only letting people know, obviously just to let them know in general, but also it might be my last trading card unboxing for a while. There's a couple of reasons for it, but the main two are the aftermarket over on eBay for trading cards right now is going batshit crazy. as well as the other trading card I really set series I really want to get. And Mark, I just sent you a link. You've probably seen this before. It's a Green Lantern Corps trading card game.
Yes.
I didn't know this was a thing, but if you try to find packs, sealed boxes of that on eBay, they're going for $350 to $400, and I'm not spending that much on cards. The video I just referenced, the Outburst Firepower cards, I spent $111 on that box, and even I felt that was a little too much. So there's no way in hell I am paying $350 to $400 for that box of cards.
I did have that poster. I did have the promo poster for that.
Yeah, I don't know. I've seen a couple of images of what those cards actually look like. It reminds me a lot of Magic, but I never played Magic.
Yeah, neither did I.
So, all right. Well, if people want to reach out to us, how do they do so?
Well, LanternCast.com. The email is LanternCast@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, use hashtag GLCast to track us down on either those places. We are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher. So please leave us a positive review on any platform you listen to us on. Last but not least, if you'd like to leave us a voicemail, 708-LANTERN or a text, 708-LANTERN is the number to use, and let us know what you think.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.